Acho que tá começando a gravar. Eu nunca
Tá,
gravei no iCloud, então vamos ver.
tá escrito aqui pra mim o rec,
Ok,
record.
você deu um sim? Você teve que dar um sim? Não.
Sim, tive que dar um sim, eles avisam, essa gravação vai ser, essa reunião vai ser gravada, aí eu dou ok.
Tá bom. Perfeito. Ka, I'm
Hi.
super happy. Well, first thing that's weird is because we're both Brazilian and
Yes.
we were speaking Portuguese just now, and we're recording this in English for the purpose of this YouTube channel and this conversation that I'm starting to have more openly. But so I'm really grateful that you agreed to do this conversation in English, because I know how hard it is to kind of change your mother tongue.
Yeah, a little
But
bit.
but you can always, if it's really hard, some things, if it's hard, you can always say the word in Portuguese, and I'm totally fine to, translate.
Translated, yeah, that's what I thought. Like, if I get stuck, I would just say it in Portuguese and then we can translate it.
Yes, that's awesome. And I just want to start maybe by introducing you, that and why I invited you to be the very first person I have conversation in this new context. Um so I met Camila, I don't even know how many years now. I think it's gonna be 9 years or 8, 9 years since
Nice.
it was. I think it was 2017.
2018. No, 2017. Yeah.
17.
Yeah.
And so we met in this community in Brazil. So first we got to know each other as friends and family friends. So we met with family and children, and then after that we kind of, I introduced Cami to some of the work that I do, and it really resonated with Cami over the years. And Cami participated in a lot of the retreats that I offered in Brazil, and we had coaching sessions together. And what I love about our relationship, and I think it's really, to me, is the relationship of women and work. I think this crazy separation that the modernity does, in which this is my professional self and this is, my client,
Hmm.
doesn't resonate. It hasn't really resonated to in my personality. So my personality doesn't flow in that way so well. So I love the interweaving of, in some moments of your life, some of the things that I have done were helpful, and I might have been in a place of mentor. But I think that
Yeah.
as things transition and as friendships develop, sometimes this is gonna swap and this is gonna change. And I think that there is a mutual, what I experience with you is a mutual um learning and opening. And even though I do have a place of mentoring in some of the relationships we have had, the way that you, and I don't know, I might have said that to you, but if I haven't, then I'm saying it now. In some ways is, you also really open me up, because um in this world where a lot of the relationship between women and um there is a place of hierarchy, or there is a place of the positions get really stagnant.
Yes.
I really love that you mirror to me what I teach you in a way that I can see the value of what I'm offering. But
Mhm.
also, if you don't tell me that, I don't inhabit it myself. So you're also teaching me to inhabit the place
Yeah.
that I have. So I think it's a reciprocity that we need to have in the world today, because just because the relationships have been really stagnant, and sometimes instead of reciprocally opening each other to more radiance, sometimes I have to shut you down so I can shine, or you shut me down so I can shine. And I think, I feel that with you, it's one of these relationships that feels really alive and creative and exciting. So I was really excited to have you here, because you often mirror to me like, oh my god, this really helped me, and you tell me why, and then I'm like, oh, that's great, thank you, because I don't know how this shows up. So yeah, so I was really excited to just create beautiful, or whatever, not beautiful, whatever wants to happen between us today. And we've got an hour together, around an hour.
That's a
And
challenge.
Yeah, exactly, because we could be here for hours. Yeah, and whatever coming, so the way that I'm thinking about it today is I introduced you, but you can just say whatever else you
Yeah.
wanna say about yourself, about our relationship, and then I'll add things, and I think we'll keep either, if there's anything that comes up for you already, you can say. If not,
Mhm.
I'll invite something, and then we'll just do a conversation.
Yeah. No, actually, it made a lot of sense when we were trying to explain our relationship, and I had never, think this way, like the reciprocity that you said. That's exactly how I felt, how I feel about it, because yeah, you have this place of mentor, but I usually, I don't know how to put in words. You expressed it so beautifully that, like this mirror, I I really, I'm not afraid of you. I really, you really inspired me. Like I really, when I say thank you for your existence, I really feel like your existence is really important for me and for the world. But I don't feel like, I'm not afraid. I don't feel small. I usually, when I have someone with so much power, like I feel the power in you, I usually put myself like I'm a little, and with you, I don't feel like that. So it was so important when you were like explaining, because I don't know, I never thought about it. We actually met as friends, and then, but then you became my therapist, like my coach, but my therapist for a while. So, and it was so different. It was so different. Like for me, it's a really rich relationship. Like this exchange, what you brought to me, and when you say that, like I only express my gratitude, but the way that resonates with you, like it makes a really beautiful place that we are creating. Like when you say usually we have to put people down, I never even, I don't know. So now I'm the some, okay, as fichas estão caindo,
Pennies,
clicking. So
pennies are dropping. Yeah,
yes,
dropping. Yes. Mm,
in this place, like what we are creating here, because I admire you, but I know yeah, that's it. I don't feel small. I know that I have some, you make my power, you make me feel my power as well. I feel your power, I see your power, and you help me to feel it as well, so I don't have to be afraid, I don't have to feel small, and
mm,
yeah, I'm open to be myself, and when I'm myself, and that makes me so, it's so, I don't know how to explain, but I
mm,
feel that when I'm myself and you feel myself and you accept me, but not only, I feel I feel grow. I feel something growing. The space is opening. I feel a lot of power in this kind of relationship. So yeah,
mm,
if we could bring this to the world, that would be beautiful. Women inspiring each other. We talk about it a lot, but now
mm,
I'm feeling in my body what you just said. And it was a really special bound, like what we've been creating through all these
mm,
years. And sometimes we don't speak for months, and sometimes we have a lot of things going on, and then we don't. But you're always with me, like the things that, so the mentoring,
mm,
like the part that really is really, really special to me, it's simple, kind of simple. They could be simple, but everything, those learnings were really special to me. First, feeling my body when we start. No, first it was the cycle thing. When we did the therapy, it was the cycle thing, like the. So we're gonna go in there, but those two learnings together, like learning about the cycle and then learning to feel my body, for me, in my experience, uh, I don't know. I do therapy, like I know that helps me a lot. But if I didn't have those two, like feel the body, what's going on with your body. If I didn't have, if I wasn't in, follow.
If you weren't connected with the body, you wouldn't there were some things you wouldn't quite understand how it lands for you,
Yes,
like
yes.
somatically. Mm,
Exactly. So
mm,
those were really important together. So when I was start, because I feel a lot, I experience life feeling, feeling,
mm.
feeling, feeling. So I usually I was overwhelmed with all those feelings. I didn't know what to do. I was blaming myself, I was doing, and then when I put that what was one thing. Then when I realized like the PMSing, the cycle, and when I was with all those feelings and doing, I didn't know how would my, oh my gosh, so hard to say. Eu queria falar
No, it's
do
okay,
ciclo.
because it's really really good, because you're, from my perspective, you're transmitting a lot. Like, I know that the words get all tangled up in English, and I know how in
Yes.
Portuguese you express yourself so easily, so it's annoying. But you're, but I can get the transmission, because you were saying about, like when you speak, we speak with your hands and your body, so I can feel how much you feel. And I think that discernment of being able to, when you're feeling your body, and it's beautiful, Cami, just now, by you putting those two things together, actually, the cycles and the feeling your body, it was a beautiful thing. Again, you did again what you do to me, because then you tell me what I teach in some ways, like you explain, because I think that the work that we did together in the retreats, that I had a co-facilitator, which Camila obviously is friends with, and has participated in retreats with, which is Jesse. He the feeling your body piece, which we brought together, and then the cycles. I think that for women, that is actually fundamental in some ways, the combination. And and a lot of some spaces focus more on the cycles. So women, because of our culture is so in the on the head, in the stays
Yes.
here. We try to understand the cycles from here, which is fine, because it's a first step, and we map it. But over time, we need to actually start feeling in the body how that actually lands for you in the body, and the nuances of how the world interacts, and how what your body is doing, and how the world is responding, and what's the gap in between. So maybe for the viewer that doesn't have any background, actually, of my work, doesn't have
Yes.
much background at all, I'll just say that, in the introduction, I think I did an introduction video that might come before this one, which is good. In that introduction video, I was just saying that, the focus of my work, my drive is the dance between male and females, and masculine and feminine poles. So my drive is not to teach women the cycles. My drive
Mm-hmm.
is that, because we have been interacting without this shared piece of knowledge and wisdom and embodied wisdom, we have made a lot of mistakes and assumptions and projections on the other. So then what happens is that women freeze themselves in a way that's not good for them, and then they resent men, and men freeze themselves in a way, in a different way also, because the combination, the fact that the world doesn't understand the cyclical nature of women, um, which to the viewer is, I'll just summarize here, I'll tell in details in another video, but basically women cycle two opposite hormones every month. So we have estrogen and we have progesterone, and everything that you think of, like, uh, appealing sexually, the sexual appeal, the female, the side of the woman that the world considers to be a woman, is estrogen. So
Mm-hmm.
when she's like sensual, and she wants to put lipstick, or she's wearing something more beautiful. Basically, if you think of like the mating dance, that's estrogen. So she wants to lure, magnetize the mate, the male to her, even if she doesn't do that consciously, but she is in that sensual relationship with the world. That's estrogen. Progesterone couldn't care less. Progesterone's like, I don't care. I want to put like sweatpants and I want to have a ice cream in the tub. Of course, like not really, you know,
Yeah.
creating
But
metaphor. But it's like the sweatpants hormone. It's a very calming hormone theoretically. Progesterone is a very calming hormone. It's like it kind of it's a natural I was gonna throw some of my data here, but I'm not going to do that because I'm in my perimenopause, which is another bit of information that I should bring, which the world tells me that's all wrong, that I'm forgetting everything. And I'm like, it's not wrong. It's wrong when I think it's wrong, but it's just it gives me a lot of creativity. But what can't do is I can't retain data points. So I was gonna go like GABA receptors and this and that. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna make a mistake. I'm not gonna do that. So I'm not gonna do it. So I'm telling people that I could do it in another time in my life, but I'm not going to do it now. But the point is, progesterone is supposedly a very calming hormone. But when we live a very stressful life and we produce a lot of cortisol and adrenaline, and a lot of women are chronically tired. We're chronically tired because the 9 to 5 job requires that we become linear, and we're not linear. We're cyclical. So we have stamina like a man in let's just say half the cycle, and
yes.
really so 5 days 6 days of the cycle we can be kind of like a man, but that's not like, we're not supposed to be like that because we're cyclical, we're rhythmic creatures, we're supposed to create in a completely different in relationship to our cycle. So basically what happens is, because a lot of women have had to suppress this for so long, by now we don't even notice it anymore because we have become numb. So we don't feel our bodies. So
Yes.
which is how I was, which is a lot of Camille, then you can say how you were, but that's how I was. I thought I felt my body, but actually I only felt my body when it was very, very dramatic. Like if I
Yes.
a
Drunk.
rage, or
Yes.
like crumbling down on the floor with a breakup. So the nuances, the everyday interaction that we feel in the body, like now I'm feeling, Camila, my interaction when I eat something that doesn't it's not good for me, or when I talk to somebody and this person makes a comment that I feel in my heart as aggression, even though the person doesn't mean as aggression, I can feel it. So I don't have to. Basically what I'm saying is that the world is interacting with us and we're interacting with the world constantly, and we have available to us this incredible piece of data, which is how it feels in our bodies. So we can feel, if every time a person enters the room I contract, and I don't feel that I contract, but I only feel that I only say that I don't like that person. I'm not feeling it. I'm not noticing, oh my God, I'm actually saying that I don't like this person because I feel contraction. I feel a little bit like you say, Kai, you said in the very beginning of our conversation, you said, I don't feel small with you. And that's
Yeah.
beautiful because I think that the competition between women comes when we actually aspire. There are qualities in you, they're very aspirational. And I can see how some women could feel aspiration towards you, but then when they compare themselves to you, they feel less than. And then they shut themselves down. And when they shut themselves down, they don't like the feeling that they have of like, and that feels small. So then automatically I don't like being with you because I don't like how I am in front of you. But when we can slowly feel our bodies and feel how we are with the world, and then feel our cycles, which is on top of that, because of
Yes.
course with our cycles, if I am feeling more, let's say, if I'm in a place in my cycle in which I'm feeling sensual and I'm feeling okay with my sensuality, then maybe a sensual woman. I always tell Camila that she embodies the archetype of Aphrodite, which is like the goddess of beauty and sensuality. And there's we in our culture we vilified a lot of the archetypes, so we have to bring the archetypes and the beauty and the purity of all the archetypes. So Camila, to me, she has a very strong Aphrodite energy, which a lot of women can't be with other women that carry Aphrodite energy, especially if I am in a phase of my cycle. Let's say that I have worked the whole month a lot. I have a lot of stress hormones. So that means that I can't produce progesterone because cortisol inhibits the production of progesterone. So I have less production of the relaxing hormone. So I'm more aggravated. So then I become really tense. So when I'm really tense, I'm more raw. So then together with that, I'm already not feeling sensual because progesterone is not about sensuality, it's about something else. So you add to that a woman that is radiating a type of energy that in that moment I not only don't have, but I'm also stressed out and raw. And on top of that, I don't know that I feel any of that because I'm disconnected from my body. So the only reference point that I have is like, I don't like Camila, like we go really quickly. So I think that the animosity between women comes from the dissociation that we had to do from our bodies.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. That resonates a lot because also, now I'm thinking of all the women like that. My mom, I'm thinking about my family that I'm always with them, and my sister and everybody around, people that doesn't have this knowledge. They don't work with this knowledge. And so there are a lot of things. It is exhausting. It is exhausting. That's how I feel also, like today, with all this knowledge that I'm, and not other things that I wanted to say, that I know this, like I got in touch with that. And just tudo bem, filho? Chai? Sorry.
No, it's fine. You have a child that's, yeah.
That I got in touch with this knowledge, and I embody it in my body. So I start to work with cycles and to realize how. So I start to put that in my routine to try to do that. So I started to put that in my workflow. So this week I'm gonna do this. That week I'm gonna. So I started to do that, and that worked a lot for a while. But then I keep forgetting it. I have to always not keep forgetting it. The cycle, like now I know that I divided in 4 things, so I know when I'm more like this and I'm more like that, and I know how to work with that. But sometimes I forget to feel my body. That's the knowledge that I forget sometimes. I know the cycle, but then I was so sad that I don't know what happened. I was sad, but I wasn't PMSing. I'm like, no, but I shouldn't be sad because I'm not in this moment in my cycle. But then I said, okay, I'm not. Sometimes I'm gonna feel very excited when I'm not in my progesterone part of the cycle. And sometimes I'm gonna feel sad, even if I'm in that moment. So I always have to go back to remember, because I get exhausted. The day by day life gets me. So I have it's very. I have to come back, to call my attention back all the time, like come to like remember your body, because it's hard for me. Sorry, I'm
No, it's great. No, I
struggling
totally,
with. Oh, I'm
with the
struggling
English.
with the English. Yeah. Because I wanted to say that um it makes a lot of sense. This when you say that I cannot be around like women that doesn't access their body, that doesn't have this knowledge and doesn't feel like that, can feel more close when like I'm sweating.
Oh, I
can't.
know. I'm so sorry. I feel like we need to
No,
do another one at some point. We do another one in Portuguese so you
in
can
Portuguese we should, yeah.
express yourself.
No, yeah,
But
and I should.
you are coming across. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. So I want to wait. Let me get back to the track because it was so important what you just said, that those two things, when I use them together, they help me a lot. But I have to remember to do that all the time. Even though I got in touch with that like a few years ago, it's not common because all the time I have to struggle with my interactions every day. So okay, I know that, but not every woman that is around me knows it. So when I work with my mom, my family, so when and my aunts now, and when I had to bring that to my mom, that she was my boss, and there were I wanted to experience that in my job. So I can do that. I have a little bit of freedom because the company that I work with, it's my family's company. So I could propose this to my mom. So at some there are I have this first day of my cycle that I bleed a lot and I really feel terrible. And I wasn't feeling bad that I was feeling terrible. And my mom, she works, she's not in touch with this knowledge. So she do everything, she does everything. And so I was feeling really bad when I first had to tell her I was feeling weak, I was feeling little, I was feeling really bad when the first time that I said, no, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna tell her that today I'm not gonna work, I can't. And so I had to prepare everything at work to see if I wasn't leave anybody like in a trouble. And I prepare all the space and I said, okay, mom, I told her that I wouldn't work and I was feeling guilty, but at the same time I felt so good. And then all the like every cycle after that, I had this one day that I could rest, like it was a victory. And for her, I don't know if something changed in her, but I think yes, because all the other we work with mostly women, and I realized that she was more open also for those. So I had we had one pregnant woman, and then I don't know, I felt that the all the environment, women were se permitindo, como que se diz, were allowing themselves, but not in a way like. And then when we think about a company and capitalism and all the women getting here, they period together, nobody goes to work. It's kind of it can be a chaotic in the place that we are right now in society. But I don't know, with this small like with the small step that I made, I felt like the space was open, and not that everybody were. I don't know.
How was it for the men? Are there any men there that would allow
My
you?
my brother was he doesn't, he's homosexual, but he has a very strong, like a masculine. He's very pragmatic with work. And no, but not. I don't know. My brother, he's like, oh, okay, he didn't give much respect to that, I feel. he's he's very creative. I was going to say that he has a strong masculine energy, but it's not true. He's kind of mess. I'm just realizing that my brother is a mess because he has all the creativity and everything, but he doesn't get in touch with that. I don't know. But I felt that even my mom, that is not very in touch with her cycle, he took off her ovaries,
ovaries and a womb.
Yeah, everything. Like she was never in touch with that. She's not very. She doesn't now that she's 66. She's starting to, but not the cycle. She's starting to respect herself as a woman that's tired, that wants to just relax and don't do anything. For them, it's very hard to allow themselves in a, like, even I was talking to my sister these days. She's like, I don't want to do anything just for one day. And that's the day that I took, like the first day of my period. I allow myself to don't do anything. I don't want to do anything. And it feels so good to don't do anything in one day. Like my sister was so tired. She's like, I just want one day. And it's like simple. If you accept, okay, there is this one day in my cycle that I really don't want to do, and I don't do things good in that day. I really feel like shit. Even if I try to do something, it doesn't work out and I feel terrible. So the best thing that I can do for myself is nothing. And when I started to put that in my life, it changed a lot for me. I don't know. Now I am trying to see if it changed it also for them. And I don't know, in the workplace, I felt like more open. The space was more open. So I felt people respecting the first day of period. Oh, I'm bleeding too much. I'm bleeding too much. And then I started to okay, so if you're in that day, I'm gonna work more. So I'm gonna do this, and starting to create this place. So, okay, so maybe they couldn't don't go to work, they have to go to work, but okay, now that you're like this, maybe we could work together and you just stay there because you're feeling the pains, the colic cramps, and cramps. Yeah, I created with them this space that they could feel more, so they were like, oh, so maybe, yeah, I bleed a lot. They're like, oh, I bleed a lot this first day, and we started to talk a little bit more about it, and then I felt like something changed. I don't know. Then I left. I went to the other store.
Okay. So did you tell your sister about what you do, and could she do that if she's feeling so tired and she wants one day off?
No, she's she's not very connected with her cycle and with herself, and she se cobra muito. She asks a lot
puts a lot of pressure on herself.
Yes. So she feels really responsible for everything, and I'm like, and even when she can rest, she doesn't. So sometimes when we are on a vacation and we don't have nothing to do, like she loves to go to Disney, but even Disney is like, we have to do, and I tell her, just relax. We are here. We don't have to go to the park. If you get late, it's just a park. Just relax. But she's very,
it's hard
and she's more masculine in that part. I think she's the practical one. She really solves everybody problems because she took that. But I'm so happy that she's realizing. She's like, oh, working 6 days in a week, it's a very, like, because we work Saturdays as well. And she's like this going at 9 to 6 is so what is the word that she used? It's so desumano. She was telling.
It's
She's
not human.
realizing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
she's realizing now that something, because she's stressed, she has all this, we have to get really bad to realize that something is not right. And now
Is
she's,
she older than you, Khan? Is
yes,
she parent? Would she be in perimenopause now? Is she
she
in her
she should
40s?
be, she's 43.
Hmm.
But she's not, no, she's not feeling like the hot flushes. She's not feeling that.
Yeah.
But
She
I don't
probably wouldn't
know.
feel the little, is like we talked about it before. Usually,
No.
because all of us are so disconnected from our bodies that we usually only feel when it gets really strong,
Yeah.
but we don't feel the little tiny little changes that start, for me it started when I was 42. I started noticing the transition, but it's really gentle. But if you're aware of your body, you start noticing, you start noticing the foods that are not so good for you, and you can start calibrating your body. But
Yeah.
I was gonna say something else that I loved hearing. Did you want to say anything else? I wanted to comment on some things, but I can wait.
No, 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 no. I got lost
Yeah.
in all
No,
those.
I love it. I love so much of what you said. Um, One of the things that I think, there are two kind of frames that I'm bringing in my work, and I'm bringing in the book, and I think it's important to bring here because you said that, like we were talking about our relationship, and you were talking about sometimes that you have to remind yourself to feel your body, right? Because you don't have the because other people don't know. So I call that the broken mirror problem. So the broken mirror problem is a massive problem, and that's exactly the reason why I'm starting to do things like this, because there's countless times that I have been with women in workshops, be workshops that I have led, workshops that my teacher has led, or other workshops of women, initiating women into the cycles. And what happens is, like you said, there's a relief to start with. It's amazing because you're like, oh my God, I'm not crazy. For some women, it's like, oh, like I'm not crazy. So this is not I'm not supposed to be the same person. Oh, wow, okay. So when that lands is freedom. But then what happens is that because the world doesn't evoke that from you, you kind of have to go back into some type of the way you were before a little bit, because otherwise the world doesn't understand you. So what I talk about is that in a rite of passage, when you have a rite of passage, every tribe that does a rite of passage, you have two very important components. You have the people that craft the rite of passage to the little individual, be a little kid that's going to go to the bush or whatever they're going to do. And when they come back, the tribe needs them to invite them to be a new person. So the tribe starts asking of them the new gifts that they bring. So if
Wow.
the tribe doesn't ask of them the new gifts, then they can't be the new person, because
Mhm.
the tribe takes them back into the same shape. It's like, so for example, that's why in the retreats a lot of people say, oh, I experienced this freedom in the retreat, and then they go back home or they go back to work or they feel contracted again. It's because the
Mhm.
relationships that we foster in the retreats is like we give each other more space to grow in different ways. So in some ways, the rite of passage of sorts. But when you go back and people
Mhm.
see the same Adriana, the same Camila, the same, the pathways of relating are very strong. It's like a train track. So you
Yeah.
keep going on that train track, because the other pathway that we're developing, they're very little. It's like, if you imagine, like, the pathway that we have been relating, they're like, a path in the forest. It already has
Mhm.
concrete and it's a path. The one that we're doing, it's like you're going with a little bit of a machete and you're opening a
Mhm.
path. But if you don't go back in 2 days, the plants grow back again. It's
Yes.
hard. It's a hard
Yes. You.
thing. That's why in some ways you I can see what you like about having a relationship with me and me with you. And because we need, what I say is that women, because the forgetfulness of our culture is so deep, we need healthy mirrors. We need
Yes.
to be healthy mirrors for each other so we don't go crazy. So I see that because you see me, you offer me a healthy mirror. And I look at that and I go like, oh, I'm not crazy. Okay, good. And if I have multiple healthy mirrors, then I'm like, oh, I'm really not crazy. And then little by little, you start getting more robust, stronger inside. So like you,
Mhm.
like I resonate because I've gone through similar stages like you have, in a way that um my context didn't evoke something of me, but with the passage of years, and then now I created a life in which I can be more my new, the self that has been initiated. It's tremendous freedom, but what it is not there is that people still don't invite that of me anywhere else. It's like very small pockets.
Mhm.
But when if I wanted to have a job in politics, for example, if I wanted to have a job in whatever, if I wanted anything in the outside, I have to teach
Yeah.
people. So what I noticed that I started doing, which is, to some people it might sound forceful. Sometimes people might see me as an activist or somebody that's oh wow, you really have to talk about when you have your period or that you're menopause or that. And I'm like, no, that's not the point. I just want to educate you in what's going on, because if I cry in our meeting and you don't know what's going on, you're going to interpret it as a weakness or as
Weakness.
something else. And if you do that, I'll have to create a bravado, like some armor,
Mhm.
to feel valuable. And that by doing that, I create a distance from myself and the other person. So by revealing, when I reveal to people what's going on with me, because now I'm perimenopausal, I forget everything. It's hilarious. And I'm writing a book, so it's really hilarious. Like I have
Oh
to
my God.
write that in the book, because I'm like, and if I don't write it on the day, I forget it. Like it's gone. Like it's never been there. And sometimes I have to record myself on my phone if I have an insight. I record myself on the phone, and when I listen to it, I'm like, oh wow, that was a good idea. Like I completely, like, I don't even know that came from my head. Which is, to me, because I have this easy relationship with it, I don't get nervous around it. But I can see that if I had a frame, if I had a boss that expected me to be doing things in a particular way, I would feel really low self-esteem. I would feel
Mhm.
really less competent than a younger woman. I would feel less competent than my colleague, my male colleague, that can be the same every day. And then in my way of feeling less than, instead of being generous with them, I'd be a little bit more sharp, because I'm
Yes.
feeling afraid, really.
Yes.
So that's these are the things that I was gonna tell you, the broken mirror, because I think that what's important is that you create some relationships. Of course, you have that with me, and I'm imagining you have with some people. And if you don't have it with some people, you kind of need to create it, like where you
Yes.
can be completely yourself, and you have to make some agreements which might even feel a little bit contrived, but because we like to relate just casually. But
See.
sometimes, because the pathway that we have been relating has made us become a little bit more fearful with the other. We might have friends that we've known for like 15 years or 10 years, and never know that this person was an antidepressant for, I don't know. There's so much that we actually, that people have created a way of not sharing with one another.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think that when we create this, like, pockets of a healthy mirror, so we can really see ourselves fully. And for women, for me, this is more important than ever, because women don't know themselves to be cyclical, and
Yes.
they imagine they have, like you said about your sister. Even when you said about your sister, like, she's more masculine, I'd say she's only ever that efficient 5 or 6 days of 6 days of the month that she has, estrogen and testosterone for like 5 days. So then she has that power agency,
Yes.
like kind of like a man.
Yes.
But the other times of the month, seriously, the progesterone phase, she's coping. Like she's just pumping, trying to stay, to not let people down. There's a lot of stress in her body to
Yes, I
try to be
know.
the same person. So for her, it could be a tremendous freedom at some point if she could just go, you know what, I am really, you know, efficient in this outward way for this time of the month. I'm really good at other things in this time, and this time of the month I'm amazing too, but in different things. You know, it's not
Yes.
in the same. Yeah.
In the same way, that was amazing for me. Oh, Chai, fecha a porta, por favor, filho. That, when you told me that, I worked so much better. I was like flying because I just organized. Okay, I'm not gonna do. Of course, sometimes we have to do what we have to do at that time, and that's it.
Yeah.
But I organized my workflow using that because I have many functions in the company. So I was like respecting that and creating, like, that's why when I asked my day off, my mom, she started to, my boss, she started to
Mm,
realize that I wasn't giving less, and I was giving my best. And now when I changed,
mm-hmm.
I work less hours in the other. We have two stores. I'm working with my aunt now in the other store, and my mom was telling her, "Oh, okay, Camila, she's kind of slow and everything." And then my first month there with my aunt, I had my workflow. I put in practice, like, okay, so I do like this, and I worked like that. And she was like, "Wow, but you gave, like, you delivered so much. Your mom was telling me that you were slow," and I'm like, "Okay, yes, I can do my best, even if I'm not here from 9 to 6. I just organize, and now I deliver so much, like so much more, because I know how to use, like, my power. I know the weeks that I'm gonna be more ta ta ta, and the other ones that I'm gonna be prettier. I remember when you say progesterone, so whenever I have to do like the model thing,
Estrogen. That's
yeah,
estrogen.
I always use that face. Like when I'm PMSing my brother, well, it's just a picture. Why don't you go there? I'm like, no, I'm not gonna take a picture today because I'm not gonna sell this dress today. I'm gonna sell it
Mm.
next week. I'm gonna sell it good, but not today. And then it was great because
That's
I was
awesome.
delivering, like I was
Mm.
producing. So yes,
Mm.
we have, and I talk about it. I talk about it, like in my job. I talk about it a little bit, but like with my friends, with my girlfriends, I have more space to talk about the cycle.
Mm.
So I'm the crazy cycle. I'm always asking, in which part of this cycle you're right now, and they are like, "Oh, this makes sense." So I'm creating these mirrors, and
That's beautiful.
it's
That's
it's
beautiful.
easier. Yes, it's easier to, like, even if in my work that they don't get, like, they just said, "Okay, whatever you're doing is working, just keep doing
Mm.
it." And I'm like, yes.
Mm.
Like when people are curious, what, like, about the cycle, I talk
Mm.
about it. But now I'm just, because I felt like that when I get in touch with something, I get really excited and I want to talk
Mm.
about, like, with everybody. And I was doing this while I was experiencing. I was,
Mm.
like, I got in touch with that, the psycho thing, and I was trying also, like,
Yeah.
experiencing. And then I was sharing a lot because I get really excited when I'm trying something new that it's working. And so I was all the time talking about it. And then I started to embody, like, to really feel uh, to really feel the changes, to really feel the good that was making me, and the choices, the good choices that I was making, because of the cycle, I was doing better choices, and then I wasn't suffering that much when when I was like in my low. Everything that you told me, like I had so much anger. Remember that I was always so much angry when I was PMSing, and then you said depending the choices that learning. I always tell my friends, it depends on the choices that you make when you're really like high and out and open. At the beginning I was doing all this mess in my life. I was doing good things, but also like the ego was like shooting, and also the sex, like my sexual energy was making me choose really bad things. And then I was down, and then I was down, and then I was down. And then when I started to put those two things together, feeling my body and knowing the cycles, and then, okay, now I'm not gonna choose this, maybe I'm gonna choose this. And it was like when I was feeling all these together, like, and then some months I didn't feel like anger, I wasn't sad. I'm like, oh my god, it's and then I get the period, and I didn't even feel like, only the pains, but not the emotion. It wasn't so hard, like to be PMSing, because my choices when I was really in my high point, they were good, because then I was working. So I choose to work a lot on those. So I was feeling really good about myself because I was producing. So like all that together was it's been so nice. Then I started to I didn't talk too much. I was only experience. So at the beginning, I shared a lot with my friends, and then I got a moment that I was just journaling a lot and doing in silence. But now I feel that I want to talk about it again. Like when you said my sister, my like, it's something that we have to talk. Like, oh, Camila in the cycles, yes, Camila in the cycles, because
I think
they.
so, Camille, because what happens is that the confusion, it's a tricky thing. I also understand, because depending on the context, like if you're telling your parents or your mom or your sister, um like if they're not listening to you, if they create already a boundary that, oh, Camila's going to talk about that, then they are not really hearing. And if they're already disconnected from the body a bit, they won't feel. So if you can't feel and somebody's just telling you something, you can't really experience. So it's almost like yeah, it's a very, it's an interesting thing. I think that, for example, your sister, I think you're modeling something. I think you are healing your family lineage, actually, the whole line, by doing what you're doing. Just doing one day off, just, oh, okay, I'm gonna go this day. I'm not gonna sell the dress in this day because I'm not super in my sensuality today. I'm not feeling it. I want to do when I'm feeling it, because a magnetic woman is a magnetic woman. When she's magnetic, it's not about the makeup. The makeup is the externalization of her internal magnetism. But when she
Yeah,
has to put makeup because she's feeling ugly, it's a completely different
it
type of
is.
energy. So
Mhm.
in our world, we have become so confused that we kind of, I think we can't tell the difference. Actually, we created an industry, like for example, we do fake tan, or we do so many practices that help us pretend to be healthy or pretend to
Mhm.
be radiant, as opposed to being radiant and then just shining from the inside out. We put the thing in the veneer on top, but the inside's not shining. The inside is a little bit sad. So it's an interesting thing. It takes some time, but I think the way you're doing is beautiful. I'd say that's the way of women in a way. It's a very feminine way, because women are traditionally storytellers, oral. It's an oral tradition. So you in a way, working with your mom and your aunt and your sisters, you're working in a tribal context with a lot of women. So by you doing what you're doing, you are becoming a role model. Even if people don't notice, you're changing the culture. You're changing the culture for the ones that come. When you get more power, the more power you get in the business, you can implement some new policies in the future. You might be able to have a 1 day off for everybody, for every woman and for every man, but it's a different day. It doesn't have to be in the period. So everybody
Yeah.
can have their day. For women, it tends to be the inner day that they need to just really rest because they're like in the archetype of winter. It's the menstruation, and then ovulation is the archetype of summer. So they're like, so the way I see it is like you're creating culture that when people come there and they come for dresses, and you were sharing with me last week that you even like sell dresses for girls in a
Yes.
like modern rite of passage of like debutante, that
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So it's beautiful that eventually, there's stuff that you can I don't know, even the way that you might teach that might not be like a classroom teaching or advocate or whatever. It's just like as a woman is trying her dress, and the moms, and
Yes.
it's which is really beautiful. It feels like really yeah, feels very powerful.
Yes, yes. When you told me that, I was like, yeah, I kind of do that already because like when I do, how do you say? Eu faço atendimentos com o público também.
You serve women in like you're a store, are you the manager, like, or you help women choose dresses and
I
choose the
also have I do everything. I'm more managed, like in the managing position, but I love to be with them. Like
mm-hmm. Be
most
with the
of all
customers
when
directly.
yes, yes, I love that. And when I'm with them, I already put my yeah, you know me. I would never just tell a dress. I do all the things. So now, yes, it's very powerful place for cultural changing because of course it's just a party, but they go there like at least three times. They go there to choose the dress, then to make the
Mm.
out like the feet, and then to so I exchange with them a lot, so I have
And
the
every time, and
opportunity.
the ripples, everybody, because everybody that goes there has a family and has friends, so everything that
Yes,
they start to learn and feel with you, then they transmit to their environment. So that's, yeah,
yes,
that's a very important way to
to
definitely
introduce
understand.
that. Yes, because also like we feel that a lot. There was this girl. She was graduating, and then she chose the dress, and then the day that she was the dress fit perfectly, but we couldn't. She couldn't gain weight, and then she chose the dress, and then the week before she came to do the fitting, and then the day that she came to pick up the dress, she was inchada. She was
Oh, she was swollen. So like she was probably about to get her period or had her
about to get
period.
her period. She's like she was PMS. She was crying, and the dress didn't fit, and she was devastated because it was her prom and was that
Oh
day. I
wow,
get all the and then we
yes.
started. I felt her. I felt so like, and women like all the time we have that like this kind of body stuff, but for her it was so strong. And then there was the period, like the cycle, and she was so angry, so mad, and I don't know how, but we could.
Mm.
Well, yo, I said, "Don't worry, this is your dress. You're gonna get your dress." I went down with the girl, the costureira, and I told them we have this girl. She
We
needs
have
to
to
fit in
fix
this
it.
dress. I don't know what we're going to do. And then we opened, like we remade the dress in one day, and she went to her party, and then he was like so in a so like so special day for her, and it was this one day that she would swallow like more like
But
that.
Connie, this is what you're saying now. I'm going like, oh my God, lights are, because I'm thinking, So one of the things, and I'm aware also of your time, so just maybe we can after this we can just do a little close. You can say a few closing words, and then I'm sure we're gonna meet again, Cami.
Yes.
Oh, just a second, because I pressed some
Ah.
some things. I was thinking, I believe that actually women, the more that this gets out there, women are is gonna start changing their industry, basically, like you're doing yours, little by little, and it starts with you. Always has to start with you. You going
Yes.
like, oh, I used to feel crap. Now, my first day of my period doesn't have to be crap. It was crap because whatever, you know. So you start enacting, and people start looking at you, getting inspired by you, and then the world changes in those ripples. But I was just thinking, that's such a simple thing, but it's fundamental, because in a girl's life, like our womb literally like increases tremendously when we have a lot of blood in there. Like, so I had these little ceramic wombs, that which I don't have anymore, when I was teaching, and the size of the womb when it's ovulation is much smaller than the size in menstruation. So only that alone, apart from water retention and all sorts of stuff, will change the weight in women. So imagine like just creating clothing that understands that you are this breathing, you're not like this stagnant kind of body that you look and it's always the same body, because it's not. You have this body that goes like this, and only even that is an incredible thing, that women could, if it's a little bit of elastic or a little bit of something that could have a give, that women go like, that's natural, that's how I am. I change, my body changes, my mind, my emotions, everything. I'm a changeable creature, which in our society we see that as a problem, and I see that as a solution, because we need change in so many areas of life. And if women were enacting their changeable nature, imagine how much creativity we would have, instead of us trying to be really rigid one thing and be like, ugh, so yeah. I
Yes.
I love everything that you said, and I just wanted to, because I know you have to put your child to sleep, Chai. So I wanted to just give you a little bit of space to just say any closing words, and I'm sure we're gonna meet again for other conversations.
Yes, yes. I don't want to close. It's so hard. Yes, what's really special. Yeah, that's what you always said. Like you always say is about say about changing the culture. Yeah, that's like the little when I was a teenager, I wanted to change the world like that, and then we realized, like, I was realizing that that what makes the world change. Like, if I change, and if in my changing, I'm being someone else, not only when I get a new perspective and I tell the like everybody around, like when I started to get in touch with the cycle, but now being cycle, like being like that,
Embodying
embodying it.
it, yeah.
Yes, embodying it and living from this space, like with my clients, and being able to do that. So it's important, it's very important that the industry, I always tell, like, we have to make dresses for women, because we always have the same we always are we have the same complaining, like we complain about the same things in the body. All women, we don't like this and we don't like that. Every woman, like the same ones. And if we all, I always said, if we just accept and just know that everybody's like that, and but it's not that simple. I know that yes, it's a cultural, we have to start living, yeah, being different, living different, and it's gonna be it's gonna be it's possible, it's possible when we live like this and we live good like this. Like when I'm living that, I'm more gentle, I'm a nicer friend, I'm a nicer person. So it's easier also to change around if I'm in the place that I respect that. Like cada dia mais,
Incrementally, like every day more.
every day more. When I choose to live like this, and I choose to not only live for myself, but I choose to live like this, uh, with my boss, with my client, with my sister, and not I just choose to live like this with my friends. No, if I'm coherente with that.
Like coherent, like you keep that
Yes.
integrity and you always, yes,
If
yes,
I
you're
can't
gonna,
do that, yes, if I
yeah.
can't do that, even in the space that I couldn't do because society don't, I just do. I am like this. So I exchange from this this place inside. I choose to exchange like this with every person. Doesn't matter if I just met you. I'm gonna, I don't know, always choose to live like this. And then I think it's possible. That's what you said. It's possible to change the culture, and
It's a
that's
hard,
it.
I hear you, and I'm like, and I know, it is possible, and at the same time, I
We
it's a hard thing, and it's a hard thing, but I think at the same time it's kind of it's exciting and hard because then
Yes,
something to
because
look
yeah,
forward
the
to,
same.
like you were saying that there's something to change and you can be a part of it. So um but I totally hear you, and especially now being in perimenopause, I feel that if I it's coming into the culture big time. There's
It
lots of
is.
books starting to be written and
Mm-hmm.
people talking about it. So it's amazing. And still there's a lot of misunderstanding and people trying to, talk just about symptoms. So anyway, there's a lot of conversations that I want to have here to um I don't know, to support not just women but to support these conversations so that people can start having more language to express, if women can only talk about their minds by comparison, like, oh, I have brain fog, of course people are going to think that it's a bad thing. But if you can say that you have a creative mind, and creative mind is not a mind that likes doing excel sheet, little boring tasks. So it's just we have to kind of create a whole new vocabulary for the world and for our relationships. And okay, I loved having this conversation. I'd love to have many more. And if you every time,
Yes,
because I think that this process of co-creating a new culture is a collective, like we're all
it
have
is.
to do that and doing that. So when you have like new insights and things happen in your work, then maybe we can create a way that you can let us know so that other people can be inspired by you and take some of the things and try in a different place or in their work. And
Nice, yeah, sure. I would love that. And that what you said, not only for women, that's very important also. That's also something that, because we know that we have the society is made, like it's men's. They if they don't understand, it was so special when we talk about it in the retreat and the guys were getting in touch with that. So yes, especially with men, we have to be open to talk. Like this culture has to change.
so they can
Everybody has
understand.
to understand. Yeah, even
So they
if
can
they don't
understand.
feel, they have to. Okay, there's something going on. I don't totally understand, but I respect. I really hope that we can feel more of that, and it's changing. It's a little,
Yeah, it's
it's
getting
it
there.
is it's kind of, oh my god, maybe I'm not gonna see it, but it's okay. It's
Yeah,
gonna
it's,
happen.
I'll just say one thing that what Camila just said is that in the retreat, in the last retreat we had together, women were sharing with men their stories about their menstrual cycle. They were sharing stories about their first period. And for a lot of the men, it was a surprise. They had no idea that the first period for women could have had a bad impact and how that shaped their view on themselves and whatever. And so it was very beautiful to get that revelation and the conversations after. And men were like, oh my God, I can't believe I never knew that. So it's beautiful to open that up, because sometimes we think that men are doing things on purpose, like, oh, I'm gonna create patriarchy, and it's like, no, actually, a lot of them have no idea that when they create a business, they're actually creating a business in a way that suits more their bodies, but other bodies, don't respond in the same way. So yeah.
Yes. And it was so nice that remember Lou, he was like, okay, I have to do a meeting. I have to change something in my company. He was like really wanted to apply that in the business, because that's what we need. Men that understand that and create, like also women, we can create, like when you say we can change, like me, my mom, my aunts, we can change the industry. We can do differently, but it's nice also to have men understanding and supporting that. It's going to be easier for everybody.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Cami, for this very first debut conversation for the new C Lab. And
I love that.
and we'll have more, and maybe at some point we'll have some in Portuguese. There'll be more. Yes.
Good.
Easy.
Yeah. It's easier for me. It will be easier for me. Thank you so much, Street.
Big love to you. Speak to you soon. Bye.
Ciao.